All right, so it's my pleasure to introduce to you our fourth speaker. So she actually happens to be one of my mentors during my undergrad year. So siya po talaga ay teacher ko. So minarkahan po niya ako at nag-take po ako ng exams niya. So I'm actually talking about Professor Joanne Aguila from the Institute of Chemistry at the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. So Professor Joanne Aguila, I call her Ate Daang because that's her nickname, is currently an associate professor of chemistry at UPLB. She actually graduated from the same institute with a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry degree, cum laude. Hindi na natin sabihin yung year kasi mga bata kami lahat dito. And then after that po, she actually moved to Georgetown University in the US where she actually earned both her master's and PhD degrees in chemistry. So talaga pong she's one of the people that I look up to the most. And then after graduation po ng PhD, she moved to the Netherlands where she actually worked as a Marie Curie postdoctoral fellow. So ito po, napaka-competitive po ng mga ganyang postdoctoral fellowships, and she's actually a Filipina who achieved that. And she worked for a private company called DSM Innovative Synthesis. So ito po ay chemical company sa Europe. So after that, she actually went back to the Philippines, and currently she's leading the Aguila Research Group. And that group's main objectives at the moment is to come up with applications of inorganic chemistry and organometallic chemistry for various purposes. So including catalytic organic transformation of biomass, and for the production of value-added chemicals. And last but not least, they're also working on environmental remediation. Okay. At this point, let's all welcome Professor May Joanne Aguila. Take it away, Ate.
Okay, thank you very much, Edja. So the first, not the first rather, but the fourth benefit of having STEM teaching. So ito yung naatas sa akin na i-discuss for today is helping build resilience to our students. So what do we mean by resilience? This is the power of grit. So we will help them know when to grit or when to quit. So in Tagalog, ito yung pagiging matatag ng isang tao. So one of the stories that I like when resilience is being told is actually the story of the bamboo, how it is being related to the bamboo. So kung makikita natin iba yung bamboo, ano siya, mataas. Pero kapag may bagyo, mahangin, di ba, ang tendency niya, magbe-bend siya kung nasaan yung hangin. Pero after na nung bagyo, it seems like it's still standing upright. So wala tayong naririnig na may natutumbang mga kawayan kapag may bagyo, unlike yung mga ibang mga puno. So, yun yung konsepto ng resilience na tumatak sa akin, na naikwento sa akin. And one of the definitions that I actually like is the one that is posted here on the slide. So, resilience is the capacity to cope, to learn, and to thrive in situations of hardships and adversity. So, tatagalugin ko, to cope, meaning makayanan ang pagsusubok, to learn, matuto mula sa pagsusubok, at thrive, this is lumago sa kabila ng pagsusubok. So yung tatlong aspects na yon mahalaga para sa pagiging resilient ng isang tao. So, bakit nga ba kailangan nating ituro ang pagiging resilient sa ating mga students? So, being a resilient, as an individual who is resilient is said to be able to deal with problems and challenges the good way. So, tinitreat niya yung problem as challenge, and it is not a paralyzing experience. And they are able to persevere through difficulties. So they are committed to their lives and their goals. So kahit na ano pang balakid ang ibigay natin, so mararating pa rin niya yung goals niya. And then lastly, they are able to adapt and bounce back. Dahil alam nila kung saan nila dapat i-focus yung kanilang time and energy, So sa mga events na they are more, they can give more impact and they feel empowered and confident. So alam nila kung paano itatackle yung mga situations so they are able to adapt. In fact, being resilient is said to be um, one of the powerful measures to success than educational attainment or economic background. So mas mahalaga na turuan nating maging matatag yung mga bata. So sa pagiging resilient din, nababago yung pananaw natin sa setback. Yung term na setback, di ba? Usually it is bad sa pandinig natin. Pero actually we can make it good by looking at it in a way na hindi siya permanent. So kung ano man yung mga effects ng challenges na yon, hindi siya magiging permanent. It is only temporary. So you have an optimistic mindset. So for example, you can think of hindi ka gusto ng boss mo o hindi gusto ng teacher, ba, sa perspective ng student, hindi gusto ng teacher yung ginawa mo versus kahit kailan hindi nagustuhan ng teacher yung ginawa ko. So we should never use the never. We should never use the never word in describing the effects of adversities in our lives. And then we have pervasiveness. So yes, bad events can happen. We recognize that, but we do not let them affect other areas in our lives that are unrelated to it. So we do not let setbacks um, essentially measure the next step in our lives. So for example, our thinking should not be rather, I'm not very good at this. So parang may finality na hindi ka magaling sa, sorry. Dapat ang thinking is, I'm not very good at this rather than I'm not good at anything. Okay, so dapat walang finality na hindi ka na magaling. So pwedeng hindi ka magaling sa isang bagay pero meron ka ding alam syempre sa maraming mga bagay. And then lastly, personalization. So we do not, a resilient person do not blame themselves for bad events. They're actually able to recognize which and who is at fault. And eventually, kung sila naman talaga yung may fault, they have the courage to say na sila yung may fault. So for example, so we should not think of, I mess up the project because I cannot do my job, but instead, maybe I didn't perform the project successfully because I didn't get the support that I needed. So, as with the other speakers, let me share an experience with you. So I have here in the slide. So my personal experience is actually when I went to grad school. So in high school and in college, as stated in my CV, as you can see. So I'm consistent honor student. So I really been doing well. So in my academics. But when I went to grad school, so medyo naiba yung situation. So na I experienced a lot of failures while I'm doing my PhD studies when I was in grad school. And actually, that is a very uh, hard situation for me back then. Kasi failure naman is not a foreign aspect for me. Pero base din dun sa mga naging experience ko in high school and college, it's not, hindi ako madalas na nag-fail. So it's somewhat not a familiar experience for me. So ang nangyari, so I'm experiencing more experience, more failure during grad school, and actually it came to a time na medyo mahirap nang i-continue yung grad school. I've been thinking about quitting grad school then, but fortunately, I've talked to several people. So one of them would be Jeff. So kinausap ko si Jeff, sinare ko yung experience ko, nabigyan niya ako ng advice about it, and another would be Risita Atienza. So, binigyan nila ako ng advice and they helped me. And one of the advices that they give is actually to not deal on things by myself. So, there are other people around you that can help you and to change your mindset. So, originally, my mindset is actually to be the best there is because from past experience, that's what I am. Diba? Na laging competitive, so laging mo tinitignan yung achievement mo against the others. And change that. So they taught me to change that into be the best version of myself. So instead of comparing my achievement against others, so dapat meron akong continuous growth. Yun yung realization ko dapat. Meron akong continuous growth sa sarili ko. So fortunately, with that mindset, I was able to finish my PhD studies and eventually I became the doctor that I am today. So that's my experience, and I know each one of us has a different experience or maybe similar experience, but actually for being resilient, hindi lang nami-measure yung resiliency sa kapag naka-encounter ka ng big problem. It is actually experienced in everyday life. So, we should recognize hardship kahit na maliit lang siya or malaki. Even kids have their own hardship. So that's why it is very important na turuan natin yung mga bata kung paano nila haharapin yung mga hardships nila na mararamdaman nila or nararamdaman nila sa kasalukuyan. So, teaching resilience to students is beyond memorization. Unfortunately, hindi natin siya pwedeng i-memorize lang, so or via calculation or via traditional teaching methods. So it deals really with experience and kailangan nating isurround yung bata ng individuals na pwedeng tumulong sa kanya para ma-develop yung resiliency sa kanya. And one of that would be changing the mindset. So just like what I did, so I changed my mindset. So it should be what Marty had said, so growth mindset. And how do we do that in class? So maybe you're doing this already in class, but let us emphasize on this. So how do we build resilience in STEM classes? So the how, we should take note that this is both a psychological and physical state. So that's why the first thing that we need to do is to promote positive emotions. So, di ba usually sa STEM classes, medyo takot silang pumasok sa science class or sa math class, yung mga ganon. So, dapat lagi nating pinopromote yung positivity sa classes natin. So, our class should be a safe environment. So, even though there will be rejection, fear, loss, or disappointment, we should take a look into it in a more positive outlook. And we should encourage students to speak up respectfully so they can ask their questions, voice their problems without the fear na makukutya sila. Okay. So with this, we are helping them actually develop courage and conviction sa alam nila na tama. And then we should also let them know to always fight with mind. So having a thick skin and using debate and not anger-fueled exchanges to discuss differences in opinions. So dapat hindi emotional yung pag-tackle ng differences. Dapat using debate. So point out yung dapat malinya lahat ng mga points ng kada aspect ng isang bagay. So the next step would be to encourage them to set up goals that are achievable. So I like it here, it's specified here, SMART goals. So it should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So if we encourage them to make or to set SMART goals, so pwede rin natin silang ma-encourage to reflect kung ano ba talaga yung gusto nilang ma-achieve at kung ano ba yung gusto nilang maging. So, with this, na-identify na rin nila yung mga potential obstacles na may encounter nila towards achievements of each goal, and magkakaroon na rin sila ng idea how to overcome these obstacles. In fact, setting a smart goal will lead them to better risk assessment. So, kung less yung risk, di ba, medyo mas okay sa pakiramdam kapag na-achieve natin. And at the same time, we should always give them the sense of accomplishment. So yung pagsiset natin ng goal, meron tayong long-term goal o yung malaking goal or main goal. Pero meron din tayong mga specific goals, yung maliliit na mga goals towards achievement of the main goal. And kapag na-achieve yung small goals, let's celebrate these small achievements. Okay? These small successes. So mas maganda sa pakiramdam yung alam mo na napapahalagahan yung ginawa mo. Next would be we can build resilience if we help them develop problem-solving skills. So, pag alam na nila yung problema, we can help them find solutions to these problems earlier on. And we should also emphasize na hindi lang isang strategy yung pwedeng makasolve sa isang solution. So, there are several strategies, different strategies depending on the individual. Okay. One of the things that I actually do in class is, for example, if we do problems or if they ask questions, I do not give them the answers right away, but instead, I guide them in coming up with the answers. So I think that's a better way to make them learn. Okay? Kung ginaguidean natin sila how to come up with the solution to a certain problem. And then, lastly, just like what Marty said, so let's normalize failure. So we should reveal the lessons of failure. Diba? Yung fail, as Marty said, it's a first attempt in learning. So we should use failure and mistakes as learning exercises. So, okay, nagkamali sila, meron silang failure. Ang importante, nalaman nila na nagkamali sila, nalaman nila kung ano yung failure nila, and ano yung next step doon. They should be able to learn how to recover from these low points and to rebound stronger, which will eventually lead to success. So let's always inculcate in them that they should learn fearlessly. So dapat hindi kinakatakutan ang matuto kasi hindi naman nakakatakot ang failure. Okay? So to sum that up, I want to leave this. Oh, sorry about that. That success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is actually the courage to continue that counts. So we should help our students eventually. We should equip our students with the tools that are needed to face and overcome the challenges. So yung challenges nila ngayon, posibleng hindi na yan yung mga challenge niya tomorrow. So dapat i-guide natin yung mga students natin na kaya nilang harapin yung mga challenges, hindi lang sa pangayon, kundi para din sa kinabukasan. In fact, resilience is the process of becoming. So dapat mapaintindi natin sa mga students natin kung ano ba talaga yung lagay nila sa mundo. So they should have a firm belief about their place in the world. So we should make them be more goal-oriented and be more proactive so that they'll be able to overcome and face the challenges or adversities in the right mindset. Okay, so thank you very much. And to expound on this, actually,